Hi everyone, Sin on this side, and in this video what we are going to do is to make this coin mechanics in Godot. And through this, what I wanted to teach you are a couple of Godot topics such as inheritance, custom signals, UI, groups, etc. So let's get started. So on the bottom left, you can see I have already imported the starter pack for this tutorial, and you can find this in the GitHub link in the description below. And if you go into the scenes directory, what you would see are two scenes. One is the level scene itself, which is this one, which has the background, the player, the camera, and the tile map. So you don't have to mess with anything present already here. Next is the player scene itself, and this is our player. Now, if you want to learn how to make this player or this level from scratch, I have two dedicated tutorials on that. You can check that out. So anyways, I'm providing you these two as a template so you can get on with this tutorial. So before we get started with the projects, I would like to go over some basic project settings that we have to do. So for that, go to project settings, and first of all, go to this Windows tab. So in this, you change the resolution to 1920, 1080, or whatever is your screen resolution. And for the mode, I like to have this as full screen. This three things are completely optional. It's up to you. And depending on these, your background might get affected, but that's not the point of this video. Okay, so next thing is you would like to go to textures. And the reason is, you see this player is actually a bit blur. So if I just zoom this in, the player is blur. So going back to the project settings, change the texture from default as linear to the nearest, and that makes the player clear. Next is we want to go in this 2D physics in layer names, where we would actually name our collision layers. So layer 1 would be the player itself, layer 2 would be platforms, and layer 3 would be items. And the importance of this is so much that I cannot even explain in a single video. Anyways, let's go to the input map, because for the player I have defined some keys to particular actions. So let's add those actions. So I would add three actions. One is left, one is right, and the other is jump. And for the left, I would like to have the left arrow key. For the right, I would like to have the right arrow key. And for this jump, I would like to have the up arrow key as well as the spacebar. And now after this, you can just close this, and now we are done with the basic settings. The next thing is we have to create a coin, right? So click on this plus, click on this other node, and add an area 2D. And that is going to be our coin. And I'll just rename this to coin base and coin base, because this would be a base class when we are trying to inherit a scene. Okay, so coin base, and this would have two things. One is a collision shape 2D, and the other is animated sprite 2D. Now for this animated sprite, I have provided the sprite sheet in this coin directory, gold coin and diamond coin. So for now, I would go with the gold coin. So click on this animated sprite, go to this animation, click on this new sprite frames. And when you click on this, there would be a new panel on the bottom, which is the sprite frames. Now here you have all the animations, and here are the frames for those animations. So I'll rename this default to spin, because we want our coin to spin. And to add the frames, click on this coin, click on this gold coin, and press Ctrl and scroll up on your mouse wheel so that you can actually zoom in, and I can see 15 coins horizontally and a single coin vertically. So that would chop these into 15 frames. So I can select all of them like this, and I can press add 15 frames. Now this is quite small. So if I scroll up to zoom, and if I press F to center, we have this coin. Now if I press this play animation, the coin would actually start to spin, right? And the speed is quite slow. So what I want to do is to change the speed to, let's say, 20 frames per second. And I can just save the scene, and I would save this in the scenes directory and click on save. I'm good to go. So next, you see we have an error in the collision shape because we have not defined one. So what I'll do is I'll take this collision shape, I'll drag it below the animated sprite. And for this collision shape, what I would do is I would click on this shape and new circle shape, and I'll take this and change the radius to somewhere about that, so that the coin fits in this collision shape. I can save the scene. Now I can go back to this level. On this level node, I'll create a new node 2D, which would hold all the coins, and I would rename this to coins, and take this, drag this between the background and the player. Fine. Now for these coins, I'll click on instantiate a child scene, and I would add a coin base. I can select this, I can place it somewhere about there. zoom out, and I can click on save. Now if I press play, it would ask that no main scene is selected. And since we are using this level as a main scene in this tutorial, I'll just select the current. And when I do that, I have a working background, I have a working platform, I have my player, I can go left, right, I can jump, and I do have a coin. But nothing happens if I go over it, right? And also this coin is not spinning. So let's make it spin first. So I'll close this, go back to this coin base, and in this, go back to this animated sprite 2D. In this, what you want is to press this autoplay on load. Now if I press that, save this, go back to this level scene, run this, and my coin is now spinning. That's good. But still, I cannot interact with the coin, but the coin is spinning. I can close this, and the first thing I can see is there are 3 errors. So if I click on that errors, there is something issue with the import. So what I'll do is I'll go back to this player scene, which is this one, and what I'll do is I'll save the scene again. And after this error should go. Okay, so let's go back to our level scene, and let's just run this, and let me just close this. So see, there is no more issues or errors there. Okay, so the next thing is I want this coin to detect if the player has entered the scene or not. So for that, go to this coin base, and on this coin base or this area 2D, select this, and first of all change the collision layer to this items and not the player. That's for the collision. Save this, and now to detect that a player has entered this area 2D, what I want is to attach a signal, and I cannot attach a signal without a script. So for this coin base, let me add a script, and I would save this in the scripts directory. Save it right here and create. Now the code is quite small, so I can just zoom in by pressing Ctrl and plus, and I don't need this panel, so I'll click on this to hide that. Now what I want is to detect if the player has entered this area 2D. So for that, I'll select this area 2D, click on node, and what you would see is this body entered signal, which is what we want. So click on that and attach this to the coin base script. So connect, and you would have this function. So what I would do is whenever a player has entered, what I'll do is try to print player entered. Fine. And if I play this main level, and if I go over this once, twice, thrice, and if I close this, I can see the player entered printed 3 times. So this is working. The next thing is that I want to emit a sound whenever the player goes over the coin or collects the coin. So for that, what I'll do is I'll add a new node, which is the audio stream player 2D. And this would, in the inspector panel, this would have an area for the stream, and that stream basically takes the sound effect. So for that, I can close this, I can close this, and if you go into the sound effects, I have this coin sound mp3. Select that, drag it to the stream, and now I do have a stream. So if I press this, just hear what happens. I can actually hear the sound. So this is what we want to manipulate. So on body entered, rather than printing something, I'll remove this. I'll take this audio stream player, place it right there. Now what I'll do is I'll call the play function. Now if I save this and go back to a level scene, play this, just hear what happens if I go through the coin. See, I can hear the coin. So I'll just close this, but you saw that I was able to collect the same coin in a way multiple times. So what I want is when I go through this coin, I want to delete that coin as well and do something. So for that, after just playing the audio, I can just do Q free. That would actually delete the node. And let's test this out. So if I go over this node, the coin disappears, but now I'm not able to hear anything. And the reason for that is you tried playing the sound, but immediately after that you deleted the node. So there is no sound to be played. So what we want is to wait till the time this audio stream has stopped playing. So for that, I'll use a keyword known as await, and that would wait till the time a signal is received. So I'll take this, going back to this Coinbase, I'll take this audio stream player, place it right here, and check for this finished signal, and I can press save. Now if I run this, I can collect this coin, I could hear the sound, and then the coin would disappear. And that is working. I can hear the sound, I can collect the coin, and that has disappeared. Now if you've observed, there was something off with this scene, and the thing is, when you collected the coin and when you were able to hear the sound, you were still able to see the sprite itself. So what I want is to, whenever I observe a body entered, I want to change the visibility of this animated sprite. So for that, I'll just take this node, place it right there, and change the visibility to false. And similarly, it's a good practice to also update the visibility of the collision shape. So visible equal to false. Now if I run the game and just observe what happens when we go over the coin. I can hear the sound, the object disappears whenever I enter, and it's removed from the scene. So I can close this, and technically I can just finish the video right here, but I would like to go over some more topics which are extremely important. But before that, you see we have an error, and that error is because this body, although passed as an argument to this function, is never used inside the function. To tell the Godot that I don't need this body, I can just add an underscore body to this, and that would tell Godot, even though you are passing this as an argument, I'm not using it anywhere in the scene or in this function. Save this, and if I run, and then if I close the scene, there are no errors. Okay, we are done with that. Now what I want is the level to keep track of the coins collected till now. So for that, let's go to this level, and to keep track of something, we need a script, right? So for that, I'll take this level scene, I'll add a script, and that would be level.gd. I will save this in the scripts directory, open, and create. Now we have this level script, and for this, I'll create a var and coins collected, and this would be initialized to 0. So this variable would keep track how many coins I've collected in that level. And I want something to happen when I collect a coin. So now what I want is whenever I go through this coin in this level, I want this variable in this level script to be updated. But how do I do that? So for that, I need a signal again. So I want to attach a signal to this Coinbase indicating to the level scene that increment the counter. So for that, I'll go back to Coinbase, and here is where we are going to use custom signals. So for making your own signal, write signal and coin collected. This would be a signal, and this signal is stating that a coin has been collected. So whenever a body enters this coin, what I want is to emit the signal. So what I'll do is select this, paste this, and just type emit. So this would emit the signal, and this can be detected by our level scene. So if I go back to this level, go back to this Coinbase, and if I go to this node, I have this signal right here, coin collected. This is our custom signal. So what I want is to connect this to our level scene, and I would connect this on Coinbase coin collected. What I want is to print coin collected. I can save this, and if I go back and play the game, and if I close this, I can see coin collected printed on my terminal. So that's good, it's working. Let's go back to our level scene and let's add a few more coins. So I'll click on this coin, instantiate a new Coinbase, and I can drag this towards the right. And again, I can click on this, instantiate a new Coinbase, drag it towards the right. I can save the scene, and if you see the script, you should print coin collected whenever you collect a coin. So let's go back and check this out. If I run this game and collect all these 3 coins, look what happens. I was able to collect all of them, I was able to hear the sound for them, and if I close this, I'm only able to see this coin collected exactly once. Why is that? So what is happening here is whenever this Coinbase is emitting this signal, this level is trying to detect that. But this level, this function is only called for this first coin itself, and for the remaining coins, it is not connected to any signal. So what you could do is for all the coins, you could just repeat the same function, attach a signal, and attach that to a script, but that would be way complicated. So here is where we need to use the concept of groups, and for that, just look at this Wi-Fi signal on them. So if I go to this Coinbase and click on this Coinbase and click on this plus and write, let's say, collectibles, and click on OK, you see now we have a square symbol just on this Wi-Fi signal, and this shows that this Coinbase is a part of this group. I can save the scene, and if I go back to this level, see these Wi-Fi signals or the symbols here are also updated. But now what I want to do is to connect all of these coins to this function, and that is what we are going to do, but using code. So I'll write a function, and that would be the ready function, and in this what I'll create a variable, basically an array of coins, and that would be of type array, and this would be get tree. What this would do is get the whole tree structure that is present right here, and I can get nodes in group, which is collectibles, right? And I can just save this collectibles. Let me just check the spelling. Yeah, so this coins would have all the coins present in this scene. Now since this code is not fitting in the screen, what I'll do is press Alt plus Z. That would just text wrap this in the given window. Now for this, what I'll do is for every coin in coins, I'll check if coin is an area 2D. I want this coin to connect to a signal, and that signal would be the signal itself. Coin collected, I'll copy this, I'll go back to level, and under quotes, I'll paste the signal. And now I need to give it a function which it would call, and that function would be this on coin base, coin collected. I'll save this, paste this, and save this, and this is good to go. Now what I would do is for this first coin base, I would go back to signals and basically disconnect this signal and save the scene. Now if I go back and play this level, let's see what happens if I collect all the coins. You can see no difference here, but if I close this, you see coin collected is printed 3 times. So through code, we were able to connect all the coins in the scene to this function whenever that signal is called. So what's next? What I want is to have 2 types of coins. One is the gold coin itself and one is the diamond coin. So for that, I need to create 2 more scenes, one for gold coin, one for diamond coin. But it won't be any normal scene, it would be an inherited scene. So for that, click on scene, click on new inherited scene, and I would use this coin base as a template for this gold coin. So I'll click on that, and if you see, I have the exact same nodes as in the coin base, but these are yellow in color. So what's happening? So this scene is inheriting all the properties of this coin base. So any changes that you make here would be reflected in this one. So let's first save this scene. I'll rename this to gold coin and save this, save. So now I'll click on scene, new inherited scene, and I'll select the coin base and rename this to diamond coin, and I can save this again. So now I have 3 types of coin. One is the coin base, one is a gold coin, one is a diamond coin. Now if I go back to this coin base and select this collision shape and make this as a child of animated sprite 2D, and if I save this and if I go to gold coin, those same changes are reflected here as well. So this is the power of inheritance, so that you don't have to recreate everything from scratch. You can just reuse what you've already made till now. So I'll go back to this coin base, undo what I did, save this, and again this is reflected in this diamond and gold coin. So in this coin base, I'll go to this animated sprite 2D, and what I'll do is I'll select all of these frames and I'll delete them. I can save this, and that same thing would be reflected all over this diamond coin and this gold coin. Even in the level, you would no longer see the sprites. So if I go back to this gold coin, let me add the sprite frames. So if I click on this animated sprite 2D, and if I try to click on this, I'm not able to click it. And the reason is, if you go back to this coin base, this animated sprite 2D, what you want to do is click on this resource and make this local to scene. So every scene could have a different sprite. I can save this, and now if I go to this gold coin, I do have that enabled. So click on that, click on this gold coin, press Ctrl, zoom in, select all of them and add 15 frames. And now this is working fine. I can save this and do the same thing in the diamond coin. Click on that, click on this animated sprite 2D, click on these frames, diamond coin, Ctrl and zoom in, select all of them and add 15 frames. Save this, run this. So see, this is working fine. Now if I go back to this level scene, I should just remove all these coins. And okay, now for these coins, let me add a gold coin, and I can place it here. I can duplicate it, place it here, duplicate it, place it here. Now I would also add the diamond coin and place it just about there, duplicate this, place it there, duplicate this again and place it there. So basically I have 6 coins. And now if you observe, all of these 6 coins are inheriting the properties of the coin base. So these would also have the same code, same functionality as the coin base. They would emit the same signals. They are in the same groups. So if I run this game, I would have the exact same property of the coin base in these 2 coins. So basically we are done with this coins thing, and now let's take it up a notch. Now what I want is this diamond coin to be worth twice the gold coin. So for that, I'll go into this coin base, go to this script, and here I'll create a new variable that would be value. and the value for normal coin should be 1. And rather than keeping it as a single var, what I'll do is I'll type at export and var value equal to 1. Now if I save this and go back to this coin base, what you would see is this value is reflected in this right inspector, and this is what we want, right? So I can save this, and for this gold coin, in this gold coin I can have this value as 1, but for the diamond coin in this I can have the value as 2. Now I want this value to be of type integer, so I can save that. Next, what I want is not just emit the signal of coin collected, I also want to emit the value it has. So for that I can just go to the signal, I can add parenthesis and pass the value as well. And when you are emitting this, you pass the value of the coin. Save this, go back to your level scene and the script. So in this, whenever you print coin collected, what you want is to also have a value as a parameter in this as well. Now whenever you receive the value, what you want is to take this coins collected. So now what you would do is with coins collected, you would add the value that you received as well. And rather than printing coin collected, I can write this coins collected colon space plus str and coins collected. Now what this would do is concatenate these two strings, and in the terminal I can keep track of how many coins I have collected. So if I play this scene and if I go over all of these coins, I have 1 coin, I have 2 coin, I have 3 coin, I have 5 coin, 7 coin and 9 coins. I close this, and that is what you see right here. So it is working fine. So diamond coin is worth twice the gold coin, and we have kept track of total coins collected till now. Now the next thing is we want this information, the number of coins collected, to be displayed on the screen and not on the terminal. So for that we need a UI. So let's click on this add a new scene, other node, canvas layer, and just follow along for a moment. Click on add a control node, add an edge box container, add a texture rect, this one, add a label. So what I want is this texture rect and label to be a part of this edge box container, and the job of this edge box container is to place all these elements horizontally. So what I want this edge box container to be a child of this control node like that. And if I open this 2D, I can see something is happening here. Okay, I can save this, and I would save this not as a canvas layer, so I would rename this to UI, press enter, and I can just save this as a UI scene, save. And for this label, let's start with the number of coins collected as 0, and that is what you can see right here. Now click on this label settings to update some of the font and the font size. So new label settings, click on this, and in the font change the size to, let's say, 50, right? And for the font, if you go into this fonts directory, I have this font already in this asset file, so I'll take this, place it there, and you do have a font. Now I can just save this, and in the texture rect, if you go into this coin, I have a UI coin, and that texture, just take this UI coin and place it right there. So if you see, this coin is not looking good, so for that I would change the keep size to fit width, and now you have a good looking UI. I can save this, and what I want is to have a bit more space between the number of coins collected and this coin image. So for that, go to edge box container, theme overrides, constants and separation, and change this to, let's say, 15, and that looks good to me. I can save this, and if I go back to the level, in this level scene I can instantiate a UI, and you can see the UI is present here. So if I save this and if I run the scene, I can really see the UI on the top left. Let me just close this, go back to this UI, click on this control node, click on this, which would be group select, and I can select this coin and drag it somewhere about there. Save this, and let's run the scene again. So now the coin is somewhere here. So what this does is it pushes the coin from the top right to somewhere here, and we are good with that. And now if I collect any coin, nothing happens to the label because we need to update that label. So for that, I'll close this, and now to update the label, I'll click on UI. I need to attach a script to it. I'll save that in the scripts directory, open that, create, and I'll just remove all of these. And now I will write a function named as update label, and what this would take is a value or the number of coins collected till now, and this would be an integer, and this returns nothing, so void. And in this, what I would do is just take this label, place it here, and for the text of this label, I want this equal to this value that you have provided. But there is still an issue. This text is expecting a string and this value is an integer. So what I'll do is I'll type convert this to a string and we are good with this. So I'll go back to this level, and rather than printing this, what I would do is I'll take this UI node, and on this I'll call this update label function and pass the coins collected till now. And if I save this and if I run the scene, now watch what happens if I collect all the coins and observe this label. And through this, I was able to actually keep track of the number of coins I've collected till now on the top left in this UI. So that is about the UI itself. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.